What's up, senior high school? It's Sir Dale here. So I have to change my introduction here for the regular viewers of this channel. So I am now teaching in senior high school. So that's my new intro, no? But still, if I have the time to create the videos that I have been producing, no? The chat review series, I will get back to that. But now, let's focus on this uh, thing, no? The subject that I'm teaching now is general mathematics, no? For senior high school, no? So um, let's begin, no? I share my screen. Okay, so let's begin with the first topic, no? I have picked out this is actually from DepEd, no? DepEd na learning competencies, no? So I have to learn. My task now is for you to learn to represent real life situations in functions, evaluate a function, perform addition, subtraction, and division composition of a function, okay, and solves problem involving functions. Okay, so this is from DepEd, no? This is taken from the most essential learning competencies. So if you are grade 11, no, senior high school, so it doesn't matter what track you are or what strands, because general mathematics is a core subject in senior high school. So if you are a grade 11 student, you came to the right place. Okay, so let me introduce myself first. So for those people, no, that are not regular viewers of this channel and are my students in my school, no, I'm teaching now in St. Ignatius Technical College. So I teach senior high school. So what I teach here in my students mostly are UMS, no? UMS, ABM, automotive servicing, and ICT. So let's get that out of the way. So I'm introducing myself, no? To those who don't know me, I am your teacher in general mathematics in St. Ignatius Technical College, no? I am Dale V. Lopez. So I am a chemical engineer and a safety officer. Muna, check. And SO, okay? So that's safety officer. So I graduated last uh, 2020, last year, as a cum laude in Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan. Okay, I'm a chemical engineer. Okay, and right now I am area representative for North Mindanao of the Philippine Institute of Chemical Engineers Young Engineer Section. So, and lastly, I'm a qualified safety officer too. I have a Bosch and a Kosh. Okay, so maybe if you want to pursue safety officer uh, career in the future, yeah, you will really have to take Bosch and Kosh. Okay, so let's begin with our lesson. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. Um, I will be discussing function. Okay, so I'll be discussing function, how to combine them, the domain of the function, composition of functions, and then 4 ways how you can represent a function. Okay, so the first topic will be what is a function. Okay, function is a rule that describes how one quantity depends on another. Okay, so for example, if you are 5 years old, diba? You are not very tall. Okay, so you have to wait a certain age. For example, if you become an adolescent, no, at 11 or 12 years old, that's when you have your growth spurt. Okay, makalit ra bug taas ang age, diba? Or kung if you have something shipped through a courier, kung hilig kayo mo shopping sa Shopee or Lazada, diba? There are certain minimum spend na magkuan sila kung i-free shipping ba or dili, di ba? Or if magdepende sila sa kabugaton sa imong package, di ba? So muna siya ang shipping fee, di ba? We can represent functions by letters such as F, G, H. For example, we can use the letter to represent a rule as follows. So F is the rule square the number. So if we write that in mathematical terms, so that's f of x. So what is the rule now? So let's represent the number as x, and then the rule, di ba, square the number man. So let's square na to siya. So ana siya ang uh, sa function. Okay? So let's visualize what a function is. So if we have a machine, di ba? If we feed a machine something, for example, sa man inyong gusto nga machine, di ba? For example, motor na lang, motor. Di ba? If you magbutang og gasolina, unsa may ang output ana? Energy, di ba? Energy og aso, di ba? O water vapor, wala siya. So simple gyapon mo na sa function. We feed it something as our input, and then it gives us something as our output side. So we have two di ay na ay function up with dili function. Okay, so function is 1 to 1. Okay, for example, just 4 is really corresponds to 40, 330, ana. So ang pwede, di ba? Pwede nga ang isa ka input o ang duha ka input mag-produce siya og isa ka output. Okay, that's a function. Okay, duha ka input, di ba? 1 and 2 produces the same. Okay, same nga output. But if one input produces two outputs, that's not a function. Okay, so that's how it does not appear in your module that I wrote, but it's important for you to know what is a function and what is not a function. Okay, yeah. So let's move on to how can you evaluate a function. Okay, so how can you evaluate a function? So we have an example here. Let's evaluate this function. This is 3x squared. Diyan na siya, plus x minus 5. So at each function value. So this is just simple, okay? Letter A, so just have to substitute. Okay, for example, 4. Okay, if you have a calculator, then this really becomes easy. Okay, this is really easy if you have a scientific calculator. But if you don't have scientific calculator, just download the app that I suggested in our GC. Okay, so just substitute, diba? It's negative 4 squared plus negative 4 minus 5. Okay, so what's the answer to that? That's 39. Okay, it's 39. And letter B, just substitute. Okay, f of 0. Okay, so that's 0, diba? 0 minus 5. Okay, so that's negative 5. Okay, and so on and so forth. Letter C, just substitute again. Okay, 3 squared plus 3 minus 5. Okay, pila may answer na? That's 25. Okay, and lastly, letter D, substitute 12. Okay, so substitute 12. 3, 12 plus 12 minus 5. Okay, this is actually in 1/2. This is 1/2. Okay, this is 1/2. This is not 12 but 1/2. Okay, 1/2, 1/2. Okay, so 1/2 na siya. If you substitute 1/2 to the function, you will get negative 15 over 4. Okay, yeah. So we have also a piecewise defined function. So piecewise defined function, the value of the output is different at one point and different at another point. Okay, so for example, this is really common kung naamoy internet, diba? If internet, I believe naani siya sa una nga model, diba? You just have to have a kanang consumable nga, like for example 30 gig lang per month inyong allocation for that. Gabayad mo og 1,899 per month ana. Okay? And kung musubra mo og per gigabyte, no? Kung musubra mo og 1 gig, example 31 na inyong nagamit nga gig, mag-charge sila og 75 pesos sa additional nga gig. Okay? Kung monthly charges as a function of the number of gigabytes the data used given by. So, muna siya ang model ana nga function. Okay? So, kung 0, wala mo nakagamit sa inyong internet for that month, paingon sa 30 gigabytes inyong magamit per month, inyo lang bayaran is 1,899 lang. Okay, that's how piecewise defined function works. Okay? And also, if naa mo, sobra mo og 30, x is greater than 30, musubra siya og 30, diba? So, 31, okay. So, muna ni ang function nga inyuhang mabayaran, okay? So, that's the function that governs how much you will pay for that month, okay? So, let's find kung 15 gig lang inyuhang nagamit for that month or 30 gig lang inyong nagamit for that month and also 45 gig inyong nagamit that month, okay? So, let's see the cost, okay? So, at C15, diba? Tanawa. Let's see, diba? It is between the value of 0 and 30, di ba? Mo man ang x ana kung 0 nasulod siya sa 0 to 30 nga range, di ba? Ang inyong bayaran lang is 1,899 lang. Okay? So, na siya. Kung 30 gig inyong nagamit for that month, okay? So, magamit gyapon mo, inyo gyapong bayaran is 1,899 lang gyapon. Okay? Bahalag hinay kay inyong internet, 1,899 gyapon inyong bayaran. Kung 45 inyong nagamit nga gig, okay? So, muna ni siya, di ba? If x is greater than 30, kung musubra nag 30 gig inyong nagamit, muna siya nga, muna rin ni ang function nga inyong gamiton, okay? So, 30. So, replace 30 or substitute x, no, by 45. Okay, that's 15. So, 15 times 75 plus 1,899. Muna rin na siya ang inyong mabayaran, which is 3,024 pesos. Ana nga month, kaya nagsubra man mo 15 gig. Okay, so muna siya ang piecewise defined function. Okay, if you have any questions, just ask me in the comments below if you don't understand this. Okay, now let's move on to the next topic, which is the combined functions. Combining functions. Okay, so we can combine, we can add functions, we can subtract functions, no? We can add, we can subtract, we can multiply, and we can also divide. Diba? As we do numbers, we can also do two functions. Okay. Yeah, so let's try, no? Let's add, we have functions, no? F of x is 5 minus x, and also g of x, x squared minus 3x, okay? So we are required to add them, to subtract, to multiply, and then to divide, okay? So let's do addition first. So this is just simple kung addition, di ba? I-add lang nimo sila. For example, minus 5 minus x plus x squared minus 3x, di ba? So that's pila man na siya. Okay? So just add. So we have x squared, kay wala man siya, di ba? Just remember your junior high school nga math. So kung wala siya pareha nga exponent, diba? So, di mo siya mag-add something. Di mo siya mag-add of x. Kaya lahit na siya. X squared man, diba? Okay? So, and then is, kini siya, diba? Add like terms. Combine like terms. So, kini dayon negative x and negative 3x. Kung mo siyang i-add, diba? So, you have negative 4x. Okay? Kaya mo siyang i-add. Plus 5. Okay? So, that's the answer. Now, kung ato siya i-subtract, so 5 minus x minus x squared minus 3x, diba? So, before we can proceed to, let's distribute the negative sign first here, okay? So that we will not be trapped. So, negative man so just add that. Multiply mo siya negative sa x, and then kay negative times negative, siya positive, diba? So, may siya 3x. Okay? So, ang answer mo rin, ana, if you combine like terms, diba? So, negative x squared minus, plus din, 2x, kini, mo siya i-combine, kini siya, o kini, combine mo na, negative 2, positive 2x ang answer, plus 5. Okay? So, wala siya. Okay. So, let's multiply. Okay, so many of you siguro nalibog yung sa ni siya, but you can use whatever technique you have, but for me, I prefer to use the FOIL method, diba? So, basing nalimot na mo sa inyong FOIL method sa inyong algebra. Sige, let's review here, diba? FOIL, diba? FOIL method, FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. Okay, first. So, first, outer, inner, last. So, F, 5 muna siyang first, diba? 5 times x squared. So, you have 5x squared, diba? And then, outer. So, kini, 5 times, outer. So, may negative 15, diba? 15x. Negative 5 times negative 3, negative 15x lang. Minus, kini, negative x times x squared. So, negative x cubed. Okay? Or add naman kay exponent basta mag-multiply ka. Then, lastly, ang last din, that's inner, diba? Inner, then last. Okay? So, you have x minus 3x, negative x times negative 3x. You have plus 3x squared. Okay? Then combine like terms, you have negative x cubed plus 8x squared minus 15x. Okay? Yeah. And now we are to divide, no? Divide na ta. Let's divide. So, gx for that. Just divide lang. Divide lang. 5 minus x, then x squared minus 3x. Muna na siya. Okay? But we have to state the restrictions. Okay? So, not all the time that this is true. So, this is only true when x is katong which is the introduction to the next topic, which is the domain. So, we have to find the domain sa denominator. Okay, so let's factor the denominator. So you have x minus 3. Okay, ana lang. Then equate to 0 both sides. You have x equals 0. Okay, kini equate mo na sa duha. So x minus 3 is equal to 0. Then x equals to 3. So ang atong restrictions ana is x must not be equal to 0 and 3. Okay, so that's an advance of the domain of the function, which is the next topic. Okay, the domain of the function. So, recall that the domain of the function is the set of all inputs for the function. Okay, that's all the inputs of the function. The domain of the function may be stated explicitly. For example, kung x equals f of x is x squared, diba? So, ang iha lang values sa x, diba, is 0 to 5 lang. Okay? Dili siya mo ubos anak nga kuan, like for mo example mo siya negative or mo paingon siya sa 6. Okay? So, then the domain is the set of all real numbers x for which x is ang pabasaan niya x is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 5. Wala siya pabasaan niya nga notation. True. X is greater than or less greater than or equal to 0 but less than or equal to 5. Muna siya pagbasa. If the function is given by an algebraic expression and the domain is not stated explicitly, diba? For example, depende kayo panghatag sa inyo ng mga exercises ana, okay, na wala siya naka-state but you have to state the function, okay, then by convention the domain of the function is the domain of the algebraic expression, that is the set of all real numbers for which the expression is defined as a real number. For example, kini, diba, as a real number, kini siya, kining f of x3 1 over x minus 4, dili ka pwede nga mubutang ana nga ang x kay ang value niya is 4. Okay, ngano man, because if you substitute for ana kining f of x nimo, mahimo siyang 1 over 0, and 1 over 0 is undefined, diba? Murag inyong relationship sa inyong crush, undefined. Yeah, so number sa letter g of x, diba? G of x is kuan kining square root of x. So unsa pud ang mga dili pwede nga mga values ana? So we know nga ang bawal nga mga values ana is kuan katong mga negative. Okay? So the way we write that is kana siya x, diba? Dili siya, x is value of all real numbers provided kini siya provided that x is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so siya kini sad siya x nga dili siya pwede mo equal og 4 ana lang. Ano siya ang domain? Domain is the set of all real numbers provided that x must not be equal to 4. Kini po, provided that x must be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so for example, mga itaning mga domain ani nga function, diba? So nakuan din siya, no? Nakulangan din siya for the last, no? This is 3x, diba? So let's find the domain of the function, which we really did in the last part. Okay, so just have to focus on the denominator. Okay, so let's focus on the denominator. We found that already, diba? So x, then x minus 3, ako lang factor na kuha na ako ang x. So if you multiply that, may more na siya ingani. So this is actually 1. Okay, pareha na sila. So what we have to do is to equate these values to 0. Okay, so kini siya x is equal to 0. Kini lang siya nga x. Kini sa din siya x minus 3 na siya. Okay, so that's how we find the roots of the equation. Okay, so transpose lang to other side na din kay 3. Okay, so the domain now is x, no? Set of all real numbers, provided x must not be equal to 0 and must not be equal to 3. Okay? Because kung imong i-substitute ang 0 ani diri sa ubos, no? Bisan gani sa taas gihapon sa the whole equation, ma-0 ang denominator. Okay, so if you want, mahimo siyang 0. Okay, and also kung 3, diba, so ma-0 ang denominator mo na, mahimo siyang undefined. Okay, yeah, so for the second to the last, no, the composition of functions. So this is now where we combine functions. Okay, so to get a new function, okay, suppose that f of x, x squared of x, then g of x squared of x squared plus 1. So we may define a new function of h as, for example, kung ang rule is isulod sa f ang g, o nga siya, kung nagan isa sulod inner, so nasa sulod inner, diba, g of x man inner, so siya ang isulod sa f. Okay, kung balipod, kung kung G of f of x. So si f ang isulod kang G. Okay? So nga siya. Parehaan ni nga f of x is square root of x, di ba? Square root of x man. F of G of x. Okay. So x squared man, di ba? X squared man si f of x. So meaning atong isulod dayon si g of x diri sa sulod. Okay, so mahimo na rin na siyang kini siya, imo na siya isulod dito. So mahimo siyang x squared plus 1. Mo na rin na siya, sir. Okay? So let's write that in kuan. Tarungon na to siya sulat. Para masabtan ninyo. Okay, so that's f of g of x is equal to square root of x squared plus 1. Okay, so let's do an example, a simple example. So we have to find the f of g and g of f. Okay, so isulod nato si g kang f or f kang g. Okay, and then you have to find the values at those values and those numbers, no, we are given kini 5 and 7. Okay, so let's find f of g of x first. So una si x squared, di ba? X squared dayon isulod din yung muning kuan g of x, wala siya squared na siya. Okay, muna na siya yung answer. Sa kuan dayon sa g of f of x bali. So unahon nimo og sulat si g of x. Okay, then isulod din nimo sa x si f. Una na siya x squared minus 3 na dayon. Okay, sabtan ninyo. Muna na siya answer. So now we have to find the values of this at 5 da kuno and of 7. Okay, just substitute these values here. So you have 5 minus 3 then squared, so that's pila man. 5 minus 3 is 2 ba, squared 4. Okay, so now kini sad isa ipuli lang diha 7 squared minus 3 ba, so pila man ni 49 minus 3 46. Yan siya. That's how you can do it. Find the composition of functions. It's really easy actually. So lastly, in our lesson for this time, so we have 4 ways to represent a function. Okay, so we can represent a function verbally, algebraically, visually kung f-data graph, then numerically by a table of values. For example, sa ato ang next nga example, so that f of C, di ba, be the Fahrenheit temperature corresponding to the Celsius temperature C. Okay, so muna siya ang word. To find the Fahrenheit equivalent of Celsius temperature, multiply the Celsius temperature by 9/5, then add 32. Okay, so thus f is the function that converts Celsius inputs to Fahrenheit outputs. Okay, find ways to represent this function. So we have to represent it algebraically, numerically, and then visually. Okay, so algebraically, so ingon na siya f of C, di ba? We have to multiply the Celsius temperature. Let's put down na C, Celsius temperature by 9/5. Ba? And then add 32. So, muna rin siya. Letter A. Okay? Ako nang hipan. There kind of. So, pwede po sa amua, para madali ni, we don't multiply it by 9.5 but it's decimal form which is 1.8, which is really mas dali siya memorize. Panera na sila 1.8C plus 32. Ina sila. Okay. So letter B, numerically by using a table of values, nani siya sa inyong module. Okay, I've written there. So, Celsius, no? Celsius, then napot siya. F. Okay? So, negative 10, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay? Just isulod lang nino kining 10 no, if i-substitute lang diri sa C, and then you will get the value in Fahrenheit now. So this is 14, this is 32, 50, 68, 86, o 104. Okay? And then lastly, visually by using a graph. So muna siya ang table, and then kung sa graph na, okay, so muna siya ang labas. Okay, so muna siya ang negative 10, is 10, this is 30. Okay, muna rin na siya ang this is 14, no? 14, you have 32, and 68, 86, yun. Okay, ano, wala po. This is 50, no? 50, 68, 86, and 104. Okay? Yeah. So, that's really it for this lesson, no? If you have any questions, just ask me in the comments below or sa ating GC. Please don't don't panic, no? This general mathematics is just easy, no? Ibutang sa inyong mind nga easy ni siya nga kuan nga subject, although lahi-lahi ang ginaingon sa inyo, ha? Okay, but it is really an easy subject, guys. Okay, so sa katong wala pa naka-subscribe, no, my channel is Findale's Chemical Engineering School. Please subscribe, and then kung hit the notification bell para ma-update, no, sa mga new na videos na i-post. And then this is my reference for this lesson. Okay, so I stop sharing here, and I hope nga nasabtan ninyo ang lesson karong time, no. I'm sorry I posted this in a later time because I really got busy preparing your modules. Okay, so huna siya ang dahilan ng na late kami. Okay, so that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.